Good morning. Whoever you are and wherever you're from, we're sure glad you're with us. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Lay all your fears and all your doubts aside. Let go of all the hurt you hold inside. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Can you feel the love of all who've gathered around? You are worthy of this gift of love right now. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Well, who'd have known that who you are is enough? And who'd have known that you could be so loved? Well, we knew. Now you know. Yeah, we knew. Now you know. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Open your heart and receive the love we have for you. You are welcome here, just the way you are. We need that. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Good morning again, and welcome to Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakenings Sunday morning service. We are truly glad that you're here with us, and we mean that, whoever you are, wherever you're from. We accept all people and all paths, and we teach a positive, practical spirituality that is called the Science of Mind philosophy. It falls under the umbrella of New Thought. And we are constantly engaging in accepting a new thought into our own consciousness to accept more of life, more love, more harmony, more joy, more of the divine moving through us by whatever name that you give it. And we realize that we have to surrender anything unlike that to let it in. So just a reminder, when we say surrender, we are saying surrender into that power and presence that moves in and as and through us. So let's just take a moment and remind ourselves of the truth that there is one power, one presence by many names. It is flowing through all of life and is flowing through us right here and right now. So just become even more comfortable in your chair. Take some deep breaths. And let's fall into the arms of love that are forever holding us. I surrender. I trust and I know that as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. surrender that small ego self. I trust and I know that this magnificent intelligence moves through me. I surrender, and as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I fall into that awareness that love is always present, surrounding me, upholding me, enfolding me. Thank you, God. So I open my mind and my heart this morning to receive a blessing this day, and then to move out in my world and be a blessing. Being a person of increase everywhere I go, bringing a smile, a compliment, a connection. Being that face of joy and love, peace and possibility. And so I surrender the details of my life and of this service into the heart and the mind of the One. And I say, lead me, guide me, show up as me, move through me as my intuition, and let me trust it. Let me act from inspired action, not frantic motion. Thank you, God, for this time to be still, to practice the sacred pause, and just be present with my life. I check in with my body and feel blood moving through my veins, oxygen moving through my cells, and I give great thanks for all of it. And I say thank you for Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening, this beacon of love, light, and joy. I am so grateful and so blessed. And so I just continue to show up and be willing to be moved, willing to be that presence of love. Lead me, love, lead me on. When I'm weary, make me strong. Lead me, love, help me grow. Lead me, love, lead me on. Lead me, love, lead me on. When I'm weary, make me strong. Lead me, love, help me grow. Lead me, love, lead me on. And let my mantra continue to be that I surrender, I am led, and I fall into the arms of love. Thank you, God. And so it is.
Good morning. This is Lisa Lee Morgan coming to you from beautiful Lake Norman in a little north of Charlotte, and on a beautiful day at the end of June. Today is June 30th, and this is the reading in the SOM, the Science of Mind magazine, and it's about the word alacrity, which you'll get the definition of in a moment. So the quote from E.M. Forster is, "One person with passion is better than 40 people merely interested." And then Ernest Holmes writes, "We should confidently expect a greater good than we have ever experienced or than we have ever known of anyone experiencing. So, what Reverend Alt says about this is that enrolling others to serve in leadership is an interesting process. People with the skills to elevate organizations and take a mission and vision to leading edge territory are usually those in great demand. I started noticing how people who knew me wanted to agree to do these requests, but often from a sense of obligation, not wanting to disappoint, rather than with genuine excitement to serve. Over time, I saw a personally cultivated limiting belief. Recruiting skilled people for leadership positions is hard. Any belief, whether negative or positive, produces its own fulfillment. By revisiting and repeating the belief that finding qualified support is hard, then through the use of divine law, the process will be hard. So pause and reflect on all the things that you consider difficult. Look at your partnership with these beliefs. Noticing my own self-limiting thought brought clarity on how I wanted to free myself and others around obligation. I wanted to be surrounded by those who brought aliveness and joyful participation. I wanted to be a magnet for alacrity. Now, alacrity means cheerful readiness, enthusiasm, and zeal. It's such a delicious word that I will often speak it into existence prior to a meeting, a class, or a presentation. When my foundation was preparing to expand its board of governance, I reinvigorated the process of affirming out loud, alacrity! Today, I have a dozen enthusiastic hearts from around the world who work with cheerful readiness to birth solutions to bring sustainable education in developing countries. Begin your own move from obligation to participation. Agree less to things that feel draining and leave an intentional spaciousness for initiatives that ignite your passion. Speak the words now. Alacrity, alacrity. So the affirmation today is, I am available for passionate service and fulfillment. I am available for passionate service and fulfillment. And so it is.
All right. Happy 4th of July. It is always a time for me to feel like a little kid, I think. I remember growing up as a kid, and the 4th of July was always so much fun. Fireworks and horses in the parade and games and music and all that stuff in the area where I grew up. And I do celebrate it. I love the 4th and celebrating and honoring our country and our freedoms, even though we have a lot of work to do. But I always want to mention, because it amazes me still how many people don't understand why our black brothers and sisters do not celebrate July 4th, many of them, the same way. And that's because Juneteenth is the day that many of them celebrate for true freedom, and we celebrate along with them. I celebrate along with them, because it was almost 100 years later when the African American slaves in Galveston, Texas, the last of the slaves to be emancipated, for them to be emancipated. So, yes, happy 4th of July. And happy Juneteenth. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I'll say it again. Happy freedom. Let's live from a place of being free to flourish. So I always want to just mention that. But let's focus today on what it takes to be free to flourish in our lives, in our spiritual, mental, physical experience of life. Free from old ideas, free from limiting constraints, the ideas of others, of ourselves, the guilt, the shame, the patterns of belief, the patterns of behavior, free to flourish. What does it mean to be free to live in our dreams, from our dreams and our desires? So that's what I want us to look at this morning. How can we free ourselves to flourish? Well, intention, faithful surrender, and inspired action are three key components. I'm going to talk about a couple of other key components too, but the first three I want to talk about would be intention, faith-filled surrender, and inspired action. Intention, we talk about that a lot because it's important. We get to choose. We get to set the course for our lives. We get to decide, okay, how am I going to spend this incarnation on this planet? How am I going to do that? What am I going to engage in? How am I going to share of myself? What is it that I want to co-create with the infinite? Because the infinite is outstretched in smiling repose, waiting, right? So how do I want to live this life? So our job is to decide what that is, but to release the how part to the divine. So intention, and then surrender, but not just surrender, faith-filled surrender, knowing that we are surrendering into, not outside of ourselves. We're surrendering into the power and presence within us that created us. And then being in that space of just stop, slow down, be at peace for a minute with the moment, and wait for the inspired action to move you. And that is how you live free to flourish. So coming from that place of power versus force, you may have heard of that book, it's a wonderful book, Power versus Force. When we force things in our lives, we just engage in resistance. But when we allow the power that created all to move through us and express as us, we are in that flow of life. And that's why when you look at the Course of Miracles, there's a quote that I've used as a growth point over and over in my life, and that is, a healed mind doesn't plan. A healed mind doesn't plan. I'm a type A personality planner. So when I heard that, I was like, oh boy. But a healed mind doesn't plan doesn't mean you sit back and don't do anything. It means that you live in that place of free flowing experience from power versus force. You live in that space of faithfully surrendering into the moment and waiting for inspired action. There's a song I'm going to sing for you in just a little bit. And when I first wrote it, it was like it was kind of fast. And it didn't feel right. I couldn't quite get it. I couldn't quite get why, what was missing, what was wrong. Okay, so hold that thought. So I go on this trip, and I'm in Italy, and I'm going from Rome to Florence. Wonderful trip on a train through the countryside. It was fantastic. But I didn't realize that just because I had a ticket, didn't mean I would have a seat. So I was standing, and I got tired of that. So I went in the little junction, the little joint, whatever it's called, the little car in between, the little space in between that moves, right? That people walk around to get to the next car. You're not supposed to stay there. Well, I went there and sat down with my guitar and started playing that song. But I was traveling with this Martin backpacking guitar, and it sounded terrible when you strummed it. So I was finger picking everything slowly, even the dang da dang da 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 dang da dang da songs, right? So I started finger picking the song slowly, and it was beautiful. I thought, wow, that's what's been missing. And then I thought, well, that's interesting. The song is all about letting go. The song is all about not trying to force, not trying to control another person, a situation, life itself, but rather let go. As with life, the more I let go, the clearer my vision, the lighter my soul, the song says. So as I let go of that forced strumming pattern, the song fell into place. And it was true for my life that as I let go, same with the train ride. You know, I was a little irritated at first because I couldn't sit. And as I let go, it was amazing. I'm just sitting, rocking with the rhythm of the train and looking out at the beautiful countryside, letting go and falling into. And so I want to talk about two different things along this idea, two different things that seem juxtaposed, but they're not. And that is the first one is from David Alt's Science of Mind readings that he shared this month in Science of Mind, last month in Science of Mind magazine. They were fantastic. But the one on June 30th that you've heard was all about the word alacrity. And alacrity is this cheerful readiness and enthusiasm and zeal, right? So living life from a cheerful readiness. Now, here you have the cheerful readiness, the enthusiasm, the zeal over here. But I'm also going to talk today about a reading from Jeff Foster that I'll share with you later that talks about exhaustion and overwhelm and allowing it to be. And so you're like, wait. Yes, allowing it all to be. Instead of going, this one's right, this one's wrong, don't do that, do this. Welcoming instead all of life. And then watch how life matches you. Jeff Foster said, exhaustion is pure intelligence. I'm going to say that again. Exhaustion is pure intelligence saying, let go. Let go. Stop trying so hard. Be present. Stop pushing for answers. Allow everything to rest. Take a deep breath. I allow everything to rest. Just say that with me. I allow everything to rest. Doesn't that feel good? We're pushing so hard constantly in life when really we need to take the sacred pause that Jeff Foster talks about and allow everything to rest. That doesn't counteract the alacrity, the cheerful readiness of enthusiasm and zeal. It doesn't counteract that. It enhances it, actually. Taking a breath, a sacred pause. Making room for both and not making one wrong and the other right. We have such a habit of shaming ourselves, of blaming ourselves, of saying how we did something wrong, could have done it better, instead of just breathing into life and allowing everything to rest, taking a sacred pause and allowing life to unfold. Allowing life to unfold. We have so many gifts in this community, so many gifts, so many angels, and so many people living their dreams. I don't know if you saw Janice DaCosta's video. She posted it in our group page on Facebook, our CCSA. It's what it's called. In case you don't know, you can join our group, and it's how we connect with each other on a regular basis and share what's going on in our lives. And anyway, Janice shared this YouTube video she made, and many of the folks in there are from our community, our Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening community, and they were sharing about living their dreams and all of the wonderful things they're doing. Well, another person that comes to mind, he wasn't in the video, but another person that comes to mind that is just being a beacon of light in the world and such an angel, and that's Stephen Tilley. Stephen is our main outreach person for those experiencing homelessness. So if you have a desire to help in that arena, Stephen is our go-to for that. And anyway, Stephen was telling me about some of his big plans that he has, some visions that he has for those experiencing homelessness in the Charlotte and surrounding areas. And it's awesome. It's a lot of just really out of the box thinking, and he's just something else. But he said, I finally got it though. I just sit back and let it unfold, and God does the work. Now, when I say sit back and let it unfold, you might think that's someone being lazy and just sitting, not doing anything. If you know Stephen, that's definitely not the case. He's always working. He means just be and welcome and be with that moment and trust. Welcome everything, rest in that moment and trust. Trust, a faith-filled surrender. Trust that God is working through everything and everything is unfolding for our highest, greatest good. When we set the course with that intention, then the universe goes, yep, got it, okay, on the way. And everything starts falling into place unless we take a step out of alignment with that. So our job is to stay in alignment with the desires of our hearts, to stay in alignment with what it is we say that we want to experience individually and collectively. We say we want more peace and more harmony in the world and then go home and yell at our kid. No, that's not in alignment. You say you want more peace and harmony in the world and then go yell at your employee. Whatever, you say you want more peace in the world and then you're not being kind to yourself. You want more loving interactions from other people, but you're not being loving to yourself, right? So we have to be in alignment with it and then allow it to unfold. Allowing it to unfold. It reminds me of one of my all-time favorite books, and that is by Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And one of those laws is the law of least effort. The first time I read that, I was like, wait, what? Least effort. I've always heard, work hard, make it happen. The law of least effort. Wait, what? And he says, when you struggle against the moment, you're actually struggling against the entire universe. Think about that. When you struggle against the moment, you're actually struggling against the entire universe. And Deepak goes on to say 3 things that you can do to live the law of least effort. And first one is acceptance. Now, this doesn't mean, oh, yay, I got fired. Woo, I'm so excited. Although I do know people that do that. But it doesn't mean, oh, I got a terrible diagnosis. Oh, I'm so happy. No, acceptance doesn't mean that you're overjoyed about the situation. It does mean, however, that you're accepting that this is what is right now. This just happened. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to hide from it, run from it, pretend it's not here, drink it away, sleep it away, eat it away, whatever it away. I'm going to accept this is what is happening right now, and I'm going to look at it. So the first step is acceptance. The second step Deepak talks about is responsibility. But please hear me, that is not flogging yourself saying, oh, our thoughts and feelings create, and I've created this, and I'm terrible. I suck at this spirituality thing. I'm terrible. I've manifested something horrible. Stop. We are not about shaming the victim, blaming the victim. We are not about being a victim, but we're also not about beating someone up for having a bad experience in their life. That's not what we mean by responsibility. When we say responsibility, we're talking about the ability to have a creative response. The ability to have a creative response. That's what we mean, our ability to respond when we say responsibility. The third piece that he talks about in living the law of least effort is defenselessness. Defenselessness. So many people in the world run around completely armored up and guarded, defending against life, ready to bring it on, to say, bring it on, I'm ready. I'm ready to defend myself. And Brené Brown says that's because we have this desire to be perfect. We have such a desire to be perfect. She says this, perfectionism is the belief that if we live perfect, look perfect, and act perfect, we can minimize or avoid the pain of blame, judgment, and shame. It's a shield. It's a 20-ton shield that we lug around thinking it will protect us when, in fact, it's the thing that really prevents us from flight. So this shield, these defenses, they actually inhibit our freedom to flourish. They inhibit our freedom to fly. They inhibit our ability to connect with one another and connect with the divine and show up and show off as the universe expressing as us, because they wall us off, these defenses that we come up with. All because we're afraid. Well, it's hard to say more, but that's it. All because we're afraid. Take a sacred pause. Take a sacred pause. Be with. Stop pushing. Rest. You know that saying, you've heard people say the saying, well, don't just stand there, do something. It's actually, in this case, the opposite. Don't just do something, stand there. Just be for a minute. Allow your intuition to speak to you. That's what inspired action is. Intuition moving through us saying, psst, okay. Yes, that's the right move. That feeling of, oh, I said I would do this, but it doesn't feel too good. Then don't. That's the universe speaking to you. Listen and then act. So acceptance, responsibility, our ability to creatively respond, and defenselessness, being open. When we live in the flow like this, then we actually can do less and accomplish more. It's true. We can do less and accomplish more. And we can live in this expectancy of good that Dr. Ernest Holmes talked about often. In the June 30th reading of the Science of Mind magazine, he also, and I'm repeating what we've already heard, but he also said this. Dr. Holmes said, we should confidently expect a greater good than we have ever experienced. We should confidently expect a greater good than we've ever experienced. Let's do that. Let's be confident about expecting a greater good than we've ever experienced instead of thinking this is as good as it gets. This is as good as life gets. I can't imagine it getting any better. Well, yes, you can, so do that. Because your body doesn't know the difference between an imagined and a real event. And as you imagine it, you feel it. As you feel it, you attract it. And then you're living it. Get into that expectancy. But not from a place of, I have to prove myself. No, let your life speak. Let your flourishing life speak. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. I remember I saw recently something I'd seen years ago. I saw it on Facebook, but it was originally an Audi ad campaign in 2000. And it's a picture of the Greyhound racing track, and the dogs are busting out of the gate, but there's one gate that's open and nothing's happening, and there's a cheetah lying on the ground, just like, chilling. And it's underneath it, it says, nothing to prove, Audi. Right? So We don't have anything to prove, but we walk around thinking that we do, comparing ourselves to everyone. And yet, nothing to prove. Nothing to prove. So don't waste your time trying to prove, trying to protect, trying to defend, trying to prove your value, your worth. Know your value. Know your worth. Stop trying to be perfect and know that you already are created in the image and the likeness of the Most High, exactly how you are supposed to be. And God looked out on creation and said, oh yeah, this is good and very good. So remember, surrendering is falling into, not outside of ourselves. We are here with the opportunity to creatively respond to life and have an intention, a direction for our life, to live it with a faith-filled surrender and acting out of inspired action, not just to be doing something. Practicing that sacred pause, remember, doesn't counteract that beautiful word, alacrity, that cheerful enthusiasm and zeal and readiness. It actually enhances it. So I'd like to close today with this reading I've referenced by Jeff Foster. It's in one of the many books of his that I love, The Way of Rest, Finding the Courage to Hold Everything in Love. Again, always people, I can just hear y'all typing now. Say the title again, because I think things you can't always see it well on there. But it's Jeff Foster, The Way of Rest, Finding the Courage to Hold Everything in Love. And this is page 34. It's actually called The Way of Rest. Oh, sweet little boy, beloved little girl, you're so overwhelmed by life sometimes. I know, by the enormity of it all, by the vastness of possibilities, by the myriad perspectives available to you. You feel so pressed down sometimes by all the unresolved questions, by all the information you're supposed to process and hold, by the urgency of things. You're overcome by powerful emotions, trying to control or at least influence everything and everyone around you, trying to hold yourself together, trying to make it all work out somehow, trying to get everything done on time, trying to resolve things so fast, even trying not to try at all. You're exhausted, sweet one. Exhausted from all the trying and the not trying, and you're struggling to trust life again. It's all too much for the poor organism, isn't it? You're exhausted. You long to rest. And that is not a failing of yours, nor a horrible mistake, but something wonderful to embrace. Hear that. Something wonderful to embrace, he says. For the exhaustion is pure intelligence. And it says, let go. Let go. Stop trying so hard. Be present. Stop pushing for answers right now. Allow everything to rest right now. Take a sacred pause. Allow questions to remain unanswered for now. Allow space for yourself to breathe today. Allow everything to fall out of control today. Allow yourself to not be able to hold it all up today. Allow yourself to not know how, to not know at all. Allow the heart to break if it needs to, and the body to ache, and the soul to wake. Everything is so okay when you get down to it. So okay here. And know you are loved, little one. Know you are always loved. You have always been loved, long before you were named, long before you were even born, long before overwhelm came to show you the way. You were loved before you were born, before overwhelm came to show you the way. You are still loved, and love is surrounding you. Love is holding you. Love is moving through you. And when you can't feel it, I promise you it's because you need to slow down, to be present, to welcome, and rest. And know you have nothing to prove. You are that cheetah. So confident. It's in there. Take a breath. Allow it. Live from that. And so it is. Like water in my hands or sunset on the beach, tighter I try to hold them, the faster they go to sea. Want a confirmation that our love was meant to be, thinking if I contain it, that it will never leave. As with life, the more I let go, the clearer my vision, the lighter my soul. Who was I to think that I could keep you anyway? We will only be here as long as we want to stay. Few things are for certain, and that's all I'm certain of. That and the fact that you can't control love. See it, feel it, respect it, and know it comes more freely when you can let go. And that's my confirmation. See it, don't try to catch it. Feel it, don't try to tame it. See it, don't try to catch it. Feel it, don't try to tame it. Yeah, see it, feel it, don't try to catch it, whether it's love or life. Just be with it. Make it welcome. Rest in it. So next song I want to do for you today is actually mostly written by Dr. Ernest Holmes. I actually wrote the song, but a lot of the words to the song came right out of the very opening part of the Science of Mind textbook. So enjoy. It's called The Riddle of Simplicity. Sometimes we make it hard, life's spiritual quest, walking through it as though we were a guest. But it's easy to see the beauty in this riddle of simplicity, and the common thread of love that flows through life. There's an infinite amount of knowingness available to all of us, so why shouldn't we express it in our lives? We don't have to make it hard. It's not a complicated job. It's not about getting more, but accepting more for our lives. Now this is not a passive passing of time. There's nothing more active than a trained mind. And since we can't unknow what it is we know, let's remember it's us that creates the mold, and the universe that creates the flow. There's an infinite amount of knowingness available to all of us, so why shouldn't we express it in our lives? We don't have to make it hard. It's not a complicated job. It's not about getting more, but accepting more for our lives. It's not about getting more, but accepting more for our lives. Not about getting more, but accepting more for our lives. Kids, we see you, we hear you, we appreciate you, and we love you just the way that you are. Divine love, moving through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the good in my life. All right, so breathing into that energy of gratitude is easy for me because I have so much to be grateful for. How about you? I am thinking about this community and how grateful I am for each and every one of you, how great it was to see many of you last week, and how excited I am to see you in person again on July 18th at the Charlotte Art League at 10 a.m. Our online services are going to continue to be at 11, but our in-person services are going to be at 10 a.m. for right now. We are meeting once in July and then a couple of times in August, and moving back into having a regular Sunday morning experience in person as well as online. But so much to be grateful for. I see all of you in my mind's eye as I move into gratitude and sing this song this morning. I breathe in to gratitude. I breathe into this moment, and I say, thank you, God, for the good in my life. Thank you, God, for the love in my life. Thank you, God, for the breath of this life. I breathe in to gratitude. I breathe in to thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for showing up as the Carolina Center for Spiritual Awakening. Thank you, beloved God, for the many ways that the members and friends of this community bless my life. Thank you for all of the many blessings that we have individually and collectively. I am so grateful. I speak a word specifically of gratitude for each and every person giving a financial gift this morning, continuing to support this vision and mission to awaken to our divine potential and to live from that place and to show others what's possible when love is present, what's possible when faith is leading our way. So I just say thank you, God. I know that this giving is not void. It returns pressed down to overflowing. And in the giving, each person is also receiving. I am so grateful. So grateful. Thank you. I breathe in to gratitude. I breathe into this moment. And I say, thank you, God, for the good in my life. Thank you, God, for the love in my life. Thank you, God, for the breath of this life. I breathe in to gratitude. I breathe in to thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for being with us. And while I'm throwing out the thank yous, let me once again thank Reverend Ned for the amazing metaphysical Bible lesson when he filled in for me back on June 13th. If you didn't hear that message, you should go back. We also had some beautiful music that Sunday with Anna Lucia and her duet partner. And then the Practitioner Sunday, that following Sunday on June 20th. Both of those services, if you missed them, I encourage you to check them out. But one of the things that I wanted to share right before we wrap up today is at the end of the Practitioner Intern service that they put together, which I had nothing to do with. They completely put the whole thing together and did such a great job. They closed with a video of me singing our closing song, but showing pictures of our community after we had just gotten together on May 31st. So I'd like to end with that today. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.